everyone. It's 91 days to the 2023 election, where you'll be in charge of getting in people that will lead the nation for the next 4 years. It's such a huge responsibility that must be taken seriously. While we do countdown, we also read the Electoral Act, and right now we are on section 64 of the Electoral Act 2022, which is talking about endorsement on rejected ballot paper without official mark. And this is quite, it's quite lengthy. It's such a lengthy one. I think since we've been reading the different section, this is the longest. So get ready. It's a page. It's almost 2 pages. But anyway, let's start. If we don't start, we're not going to get anywhere. They say a journey of 1,000,000 steps starts with 1 step. So subsection 1 of section 64 of the Electoral Act 2022 says, the presiding officer shall endorse the word rejected on the ballot paper rejected under section 52 subsection 1 of this act, and for any other reason, and the ballot papers shall not be counted except otherwise allowed by the returning officer, who may overrule the presiding officer. So you see, these things have levels. The returning officer is above the presiding officer and can overrule certain things. Subsection 2 says, if an objection to the decision of a presiding officer to reject a ballot paper is raised by a candidate or a polling agent at the time the decision is made, the presiding officer shall add to the word rejected the phrase "but objected to." So that's to say, if there's a particular ballot paper has been rejected by the presiding officer, so either the candidate, the party, polling unit agent can object to it, and so they will have to add that objected to, and that will be seen later. So all of this is done to don't just waste time at the polling unit trying to get it, but say they can be taken into consideration later on. Subsection 3 says, the presiding officer shall prepare a statement on rejected ballot paper stating the number rejected, the reason for rejection, and their serial number, and he or she shall on request allow a candidate or a polling agent to copy the statement. So if it's, for example, a particular party or candidate or agent might notice that it's only their own the ballot papers of people who voted for their own parties that are being rejected, might note it down. All of this put that they raise objection. The objection have to be stated in it. Then we have subsection 4, which says a collation officer or returning officer at an election shall collate and announce the result of an election subject to his or her verification and confirmation that the number of accredited voters stated on the collated result are correct and consistent with the number of accredited voters recorded and transmitted directly from polling units under section 47(2) of this act. B, the votes stated on the collated results are correct and consistent with the votes or results recorded and transmitted directly from polling units under section 60 subsection 4 of this act. So some of this we've not yet reached them, but if you have the act, you can go forward to go and see what they're talking about. Then we have subsection 5 of section 64 of the Electoral Act 2022, which is we are still reading, says, subject to subsection 1, the collation officer or returning officer shall use the number of accredited voters recorded and transmitted directly from polling units under section 47 subsection 2 of this act, and the votes or results recorded and transmitted directly from the polling unit under section 60 subsection 4 of this act to collate and announce the result of an election if a collated result at his or a lower level of collation is not correct. Do you get that? You can read that again to properly get to understand it. Then we have subsection 6. It says, where during collation of result there is a dispute regarding a collated result or the result of an election from any polling unit, the collation officer or returning officer shall use the following to determine the correctness of the disputed result. A, the origin of the disputed collated result for each polling unit where the election is disputed. B. The smart card reader or that technology device used for accreditation of voters in each polling unit where the election is disputed for the purpose of obtaining accreditation data directly from the smart card reader or technology device. I love the fact where they have technology device. So even if it's not the smart card reader, any other thing that it is. 2015 election, what the Supreme Court will say later was that the card reader wasn't admissible in the court because it wasn't mentioned in the act. But right now, we have not only just the card reader, but any technology device. C. Data of accreditation recorded and transmitted directly from each polling unit where the election is disputed as prescribed under Section 47, subsection 2 of this Act. And D. The votes and the result of the election recorded and transmitted directly from each polling unit where the election is disputed as prescribed under Section 60, subsection 4 of this Act. So you see, it's very important that transmission of results, stay there, be there, watch and ensure that these results are properly counted and properly entered into. You too can also take a picture of it and all of that. Let's keep this result. Where there are disputes, we'll go back to all of this. 7. If the disputed result under subsection 6 were otherwise found not to be correct, the collation officer or returning officer shall recollate and announce a new result using the information in subsection 6A to D. So if, for example, they raise objection to the result and say, no, this is not the result, and they go through all those things, checking the card reader, checking the original result and all of that A to D, and they find out that indeed that's what was being announced was not the original result, then there will be another collation. Then we have subsection 8. It says, where the dispute under subsection 6 arose at the level of collation and the returning officer has satisfied the provision of the section 6A to D, the returning officer shall accordingly declare the winner of the election. So if where there's dispute, but they've gone through, have they checked everything and they see that the result, there's no problem, it's still the result, the returning officer will just go ahead and declare a winner. And the person who doesn't win, you can start work again for the next election. Then we have the final one in this. This has been the longest section so far that I've read, which is subsection 9. It says, a returning officer or collation officer, as the case may be, commits an offense if he or she intentionally collates or announces a false result and is liable on conviction to a fine of 5 million naira or imprisonment for a term of at least 3 years or above. That's at least. So the person must do 3 years. So that's to tell you the enormity of how they see this so much as a crime, trying to change the result the way it is. The Electoral Act has really given us a lot. Let's put all we can and ensure we too are playing our role to ensure that we have free, fair, and credible election. Thank you. Bye-bye.